one of the things that you included in the list of topics was whether or not governments, enterprises should mandate that vendors certify 2038 compliance. I'm assuming that you're possibly in some sort of favor of that?
Yeah, I think they need to at some point. Because would you buy a device where you don't know if it keeps working until next year? So that's like on food, you have your best before date. So okay, I can still use it tomorrow or next year. And you want to know how long is your device good for use. For some, there's these Pixel phones where they say, okay, we will supply updates for this many years, and that's good to know, because other vendors don't supply this information. They just give you, oh, here's hardware. It's already outdated when they give to you, and they never update it. That's they had that with some Chinese vendors.
Running up to the 2000s, I don't know about Europe, but I know the US government was throwing money at that problem to try to fix the year 2000 problem, to basically make sure it didn't become something that was that big of a deal, right? I assume things maybe happen in Europe. I actually have no idea about that.
Not yet.
Well,
so
with the year
at least
2000 problem, I don't know about with the current problems.
Okay, I'm not sure. So I was in university back then, so
Right.
I only saw it on the side when people made a big deal about it. And no, your video froze for a second.
Oh, yeah, it's done that a couple of
Works.
times. I could still hear you though.
Yeah, works fine. Yeah. So I expect there will be mandates to ensure that the software they procure to use for the next years will be good to use for the next years, and especially you can't always rely on vendors to still be around, or except if this other initiative gets hold, where you want open source for what you buy. That's called public money, public code. You've heard of this initiative?
It vaguely rings a bell.
That's from the Free Software Foundation Europe, I think, where they say, oh, these governments, they spend so much money on software, public money they spend on software, so why not say, if something gets built for us, then please get the source code for us so we can have it if the vendor goes down, or if the vendor says, oh, that's too hard a problem, we can't fix that, then they can take the source code and have someone else have a try on fixing this thing and throw money at it. And that's a really good initiative, and that can also have this issues with year 2038. Because then at least you have the sources, you can recompile it and do things. Yeah, but even if it's just a binary and you run it on your libc, then maybe you can just patch your libc and be fine. So there might be ways without source code, but it's nicer with source code, really.
I think the first step to getting any sort of change happening here is to at least get people knowing about the problem and, talking about this issue. This is why I'm kind of glad that, like, every year you put out that post, hey, here are the problems that exist, here are the ones that have been dealt with, and why I've been covering it for the past couple of years as well, because I do think that this is a problem that is really important, and maybe there's, like, some developers here and there that are fixing problems, they spot them, but it's not something that there is this sort of wide initiative to fix, wide initiative to discuss. It's kind of just there's people here and there doing things, and that's basically it.
Yeah, but it's a good first step because people are more and more aware that this problem exists and that they need to not throw their time key into an int and send it around. So yeah, every bit helps. So maybe that's already enough to get half of the issues fixed. So when it comes to spending a lot of money, then we only have to deal with half the number of issues. So it helps. I'm a bit nervous.
I was gonna say, have you considered taking the topic to do a talk at FOSS or something like that?
Troy did. He ran a buff at FOSS last Saturday, I think.
Oh,
And I didn't
okay.
hear back from him, so but I assume he was there and people attended and they discussed all these things that we discussed right now. Yeah, I did discuss before with him, and I collected all these reasons why 2038 will not be a big problem. And one reason that appeared in some of these Reddit posts in the past was, 2038, maybe there will be nuclear apocalypse until then, and we don't have to care about it.
Yeah, I saw so many of these comments like, look, very well, there might be, or, we can talk climate change. Like, you can talk about any of these just like world destruction problems. Like, sure, fine, okay.
Yes, there's other important problems, that's sure, but exactly. We can't rely on the nuclear apocalypse to solve this.
Right.
It's not a good solution.
A more recent one I've heard is, by then we're going to have AI that's going to identify all of these problems and it's just going to magically fix it. And sure, maybe it will.
Yeah, maybe if you have the source code and can recompile it.
Yeah.
And then, it's like a good linter that can review all your source code. So maybe actually it can help, but not sure. It may miss things. It may have false positive, false negative. So, and one other funny response was, I will be retired by then. So, all fine.
Fair enough.
And do you expect to have a working society when you are retired? Do you have kids? Do you have friends?
I have no doubt that was a big part of Y2K as well. I wrote it. We only store date with 2 numbers. I'm going to be retired by then. I don't actually care.
Yeah, but it's not good argument.
It's not a good argument, no.
We need to go in and fix these things if they are broken. Maybe it's not that much, actually. So I counted, and it was in the around 60 things that I reported so far. And so maybe it's not as broken. At least the things that I see, where we already submitted fixes, but other things we don't know. There's unknowns.
Well, let alone software deployments that were written years ago. We see all of this, there's COBOL jobs that are out there, right? Like there's this really old code bases, and who knows what those code bases are doing at this point. This sort of goes more into the proprietary stuff. There's really old deployments out there. There's software out there that hasn't really been updated in over 20 years. I know someone who works in a call center that uses a DOS VM because they're still using the call center software from when everyone was on DOS. Like, this is a thing that exists right now.